Hello and welcome. I'm Pranay Upadhyay and you are watching India Today Global. The big story we are starting with. After United Kingdom, European Union, it's France now. India-France bilateral and trade relations will see a new impetus with the arrival of French President Emmanuel Macron. The Mumbai meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Emmanuel Macron highlighted a deepening India-France strategic partnership built for the long term and aimed at global impact. The leaders reaffirmed cooperation across the wide spectrum of the cooperation and the partnership, artificial intelligence, advanced material, defense, and startup ecosystem symbolized by the virtual inauguration of the Airbus H125 helicopter assembly line in the state of Karnataka.
My dear friend, President Macron, दोनों देशों के डेलीगेट्स, मीडिया के साथियों, नमस्कार, bonjour.
Bonhomie strategy and a clear message to the world. The Modi-Macron meet in Mumbai signaled a partnership that goes beyond diplomacy. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Emmanuel Macron came together to reaffirm ties from artificial intelligence to advanced materials, from defense to digital science. They made it clear the ties are designed for the long haul and for global impact.
Indo-French Center for AI in Health, Indo-French Center for Digital Science and Technology, और नेशनल सेंटर ऑफ अलायंस फॉर स्किलिंग इन एरोनॉटिक्स लॉन्च करने जा रहे हैं और ये मात्र इंस्टीट्यूशंस नहीं है, ये फ्यूचर बिल्डिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स है.
By jointly pressing the button.
A key symbol of that trust, the virtual inauguration of the Airbus H125 helicopter assembly line at Vemagal in Karnataka.
भारत और फ्रांस मिलकर माउंट एवरेस्ट की ऊंचाइयों तक उड़ान भरने वाला विश्व का एकमात्र हेलीकॉप्टर भारत में बनाएंगे और ये पूरे विश्व को एक्सपोर्ट भी करेंगे. इंडिया फ्रांस पार्टनरशिप नोज नो बाउंड्रीज.
Beyond manufacturing, the message was strategic. Both leaders spoke in one voice on democratic values, the rule of law, and multipolar world.
ये पार्टनरशिप केवल स्ट्रेटेजिक नहीं है. आज के उथल-पुथल से भरे युग में यह ग्लोबल स्टेबिलिटी और ग्लोबल प्रोग्रेस की पार्टनरशिप है.
हमने एक नए रास्ते, कई नए रास्ते चुने, जैसे कि तीसरा रास्ता जो हिंद प्रशांत क्षेत्र का हो या फिर तकनीक का हो या फिर, और जिसमें हम ऐसा रास्ता है जिसमें कोई भी हेजेमनी ना हो किसी, और हम पूरी तरह से कानून में, रूल ऑफ लॉ में विश्वास करते हैं.
From Rafale fighter jets to submarines, defense cooperation is expanding. Macron called India one of France's most trusted partners.
चाहे राफाल हो, चाहे सबमरीन्स हो, चाहे वो ये जो हेलीकॉप्टर्स के लिए जो फाइनल असेंबली लाइन जो टाटा एडवांस्ड कंपनी जो है वो मिलकर भारत फ्रांस के साथ कर रही है. हम मिलकर भारत के साथ काम कर रहे हैं, जहाँ पर हम टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफर में विश्वास करते हैं.
In the world facing uncertainty, conflict and power rivalry, the India-France partnership is projecting stability, balance and trust. Bureau Report, India Today.
So what exactly this elevated special global strategic partnership of India and France will stand for? What message India and France are trying to convey on the global stage? To discuss this issue, I am being joined by a special guest, Ambassador Mohan Kumar, who has contributed to the building of this relationship, who has served as India's ambassador in Paris. And also, I am expecting Mr. Francois Gauthier, the known French journalist and author. So first to you, and I can see Mr. Gauthier as well on the screen, but my first question to you, Ambassador Kumar, that with this India-France ties now elevated to a special global strategic partnership after the Mumbai summit, How do you see this reshape our defense collaboration and that too the strategic partnership for a longer run?
Thank you very much for having me. I think this is a clear reaction to geopolitical turbulence. There is no other way to interpret how this partnership has stood the test of time and why the two countries felt the strong need to elevate this partnership. So it's definitely a force for stability. Two middle powers, although I recognize that France is a much more developed country than India. So I call them two middle powers trying to ring fence their relationship in the face of global turbulence. That's point number one. Point number two on defense. When I was ambassador in Paris, I would plead with my French interlocutors that let's stop doing this buyer-seller relationship. Let's start making this equipment in India only because India does not have limitless dollars to keep buying expensive planes and other equipment from France. I am particularly happy that the big change has come in this visit where you have quite a few announcements. And let me just give you two of those. One, out of 114 Rafale, 18 of them will be taken off the shelf in new form, but the rest of the 96 will be made in India with at least 60% localization content. This is what we were arguing for many, many years now. So that is a welcome change. The second thing is the inauguration of the helicopter assembly line, where again, we are not just going to make helicopters for the Indian market, but also for exports to third markets. And along with this, you're going to have substantial...
So, Ambassador Kumar, you mean to say that, this new forthcoming fleet of 114 aircraft, this will be a true example of India-France joint collaboration because, as you mentioned, that the 60% of the component will be indigenous, India-made.
Absolutely. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm really trying to say there is a paradigmatic shift in the way we are going to conduct defense ties. The other thing I see is that this is going to be now a medium to long-term partnership. This is not just a buyer-seller relationship. And I think we will be able to do many things because of the spin-off benefits that come from defense partnerships in terms of technology.
But Ambassador Kumar, looking at the list of the 21, agreements which are announced today, what excites you the most, and which agreement or announcement you see as the most promising one?
I'm a geopolitical person, so the one that excites me most is that Horizon 2047, which was announced 3 years ago, will now be overseen by the two foreign ministers every year. I think this is a wonderful move because without political overseeing and management, you cannot implement this roadmap. So that's a wonderful thing. I also think some of the smaller things like the ecosystem linking of innovation and startup systems between the two countries holds a lot of promise. I also think the use of AI in health and setting up an institute in AIMS is also of great importance.
Ambassador Kumar, please stay on. Let me bring Francois Gauthier as well in this discussion. Francois, welcome to India Today. And what do you make of out of this latest shift in attitude and approach of Europe, especially France towards India? Is it more strategic or tactical in approach, the way Europe is engaging with India amid these global tensions, as Ambassador Kumar also mentioned?
Well, I'm a Frenchman and my heart is in India. I live in India. I'm married to an Indian. So I'm most happy about this rapprochement, this India and France together. But let me say that I have covered 5 presidential visits from François Mitterrand to today, Mr. Macron. And I see a lot of goodwill, a lot of handshake, a lot of beer hacks, between Mr. Modi and Mr. Macron, but not much hand on the ground. There's a lot of intent. If you look at the MEA, points, there's a lot of letters of intent, a lot of future things. But on the ground, since I live in India for such a long time, I don't see much investment of France in India, real investment like the Koreans or the Germans do. So I'm a little disappointed. Of course, the sale of the Rafale is the most important
Yes.
in terms of, economically, but I would like more France investing politically, even emotionally in India, supporting Kashmir, for instance, India's stand on Kashmir, which I've been trying to, put across in France for a long time, but without much success. Supporting more India against Pakistan, selling to India nuclear plants that that France has promised for such a long time. But I don't see much thing on the ground. I see a lot of goodwill, a lot of intent.
Exactly, I wanted to come to this point, Mr. Gautier, that with the growing influx, or we are expecting, more influx of the French business and cultural leaders, after these agreements. In your opinion, since you have chronicalized the India-France relation, what exactly is going to reshape the everyday collaboration between our two countries?
See, two things have to change. One, India has to make it easier to invest here. It is still very difficult. As a Frenchman living in India, though I'm an OCI, married to an Indian, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to invest and do business in India for a foreigner. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the image of India in France has to change. There are specialists in France that keep on talking about caste fundamentalism, Hindu fundamentalism, and as long as this is there, and they're supported by the government, they're sponsored by the government, as long as this is there, there's a reluctance on the part of the French businessmen to heavily invest in India. So two things have to change, and they haven't changed, I'm sorry to say. It's still difficult to do business in India for a French company, and the image of India in France is still not what it should be, a nation on par with China, an alternative for the West to invest instead of putting all the chips in China. So I think this has not changed yet.
And I think, Gautier, this was the reason that both leaders have addressed the business leaders as well. But I would want to bring Ambassador Kumar as well in this conversation. Your quick closing comment by you, Ambassador Kumar, that we have heard both Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Macron talking in the same voice and favoring the rule-based order, not letting the hegemonic approach to cause disturbance in the partnerships. Do you see it as a message to maybe President Donald Trump?
No, I'm not sure they were addressing anybody in particular, but what I would say is the following. Geopolitical turbulence is not just coming from one country or one leader. We have a problem in the Taiwan Straits. We have a problem in the Gulf in terms of what is happening in Gaza and so on. We have a problem in Ukraine. So geopolitical turbulence is not confined to just one actor or one country. That would be unfair. I think in the face of this massive geopolitical turbulence, I genuinely think that two countries like France and India trying to share whatever they have and taking their relationship to the next level brings a certain measure of stability and predictability to the geopolitical system. That is the way I see it. I also see that a new subject has been added. Normally, when I was ambassador, we used to say the troika of the relationship was defense, nuclear, and space. Now I see technology being added to that mix. I genuinely think that in areas like 6G, AI, and technology and innovation, France and India can provide a third way. There is the American way and there is a Chinese way. But I genuinely think both France and India can chart a third way or a middle path, which will help democratize technology and innovation and make sure that the benefits of AI are shared by the people.
Mr. Gautier is smiling, but I'm running short on time. But thank you very much, Ambassador Kumar and Mr. Gautier, for joining me in this conversation and for sharing your thoughts. Thank you very much. And moving on, let's talk about the second round of talks between the United States and Iran, which concluded in Geneva amid the US warships moving towards Iran and Tehran conducting drills in Strait of Hormuz. The talks that took place in Oman ambassador's residence went for over 3 hours. The meeting was attended by Iranian Foreign Minister Sayyid Abbas Araghchi and US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, along with President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Araghchi told the state media that the second round of talks were constructive and no date for the third round is set as yet. Meanwhile, protesters shouted as Iran's delegation left after talks in Geneva over Tehran's disputed nuclear program. a handful of protesters shouted, with some being pushed back by the police authorities as the Iranian convoy drove down. Hours after the talks began, Iranian state media broadcast footage of Revolutionary Guard drills in and around the Strait of Hormuz. The video showed the aerial images of cargo ships transiting the strait. Iran also said that it will close down the strait for several hours for safety and maritime concerns. This is for the first time that Iran has closed parts of the Strait of Hormuz since the US began threatening Iran with military action.
We managed to reach a general agreement on a number of guiding principles based on which we will move forward from now on and start working on the text for a possible agreement. This does not mean that we can quickly reach an agreement, but at least the path has started. We hope that this is done as soon as possible and we are ready to spend enough time on it. Nevertheless, when you reach the stage to put together a text, things become more difficult and detailed.
تدوین متن میرسه خب کاری مقدار مشکل‌تر و ریزتر میشه.
And now let's talk about the beginning of a new chapter in Bangladesh. Tarik Rahman takes oath as Prime Minister of Bangladesh after his party's landslide victory in elections. 49 cabinet ministers were sworn in. The BNP, however, refused a second oath as member of the Constitution Reform Commission, distancing itself from the recent referendum. Here is a report.
আমি সশ্রদ্ধ চিত্তে তারেক রহমান সশস্ত্র চিত্রে শপথ করিতেছি যে
Khaleda Zia's son Tarik Rahman takes oath as Bangladesh Prime Minister, becoming the first male to hold the post after 35 years.
প্রধানমন্ত্রী পদের কর্তব্য
President Mohammad Shahabuddin administered the oath to 60-year-old Rahman at the South Plaza of the Jatiya Sangsad in Dhaka, marking a break from tradition as the ceremony was held outside Bongo Bhavan. Rahman's Bangladesh Nationalist Party had secured a landslide, winning 209 of 297 seats in the recent parliamentary elections. This is the first elected government since the deadly 2024 uprising which ousted Sheikh Hasina. Earlier in the day, newly elected MPs took oath, but controversy followed. The BNP refused to take a second oath as members of the proposed Constitution Reform Commission, distancing itself from the referendum that took place along with the elections.
আমরা কেউ সংবিধান সংস্কার পরিষদের সদস্য হিসেবে নির্বাচিত হইনি এবং সংবিধানে এটা এখনো ধারণ করা হয়নি।
Nitya Roy Chaudhary, a Hindu MP, and Dipen Diwan from the Chakma Buddhist community are the two ministers from minority communities. Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla attended the swearing-in ceremony in Dhaka. Prime Minister Modi congratulated Bangladesh's new Prime Minister. He also invited Prime Minister Rahman, his wife Dr. Zubeda Rahman and his daughter Zaima to visit India at a mutually convenient time. Rahman's rise to power comes after 17 years in self-imposed exile in London, closing one chapter and opening another in Bangladesh's turbulent political history. A powerful comeback, a decisive mandate. And now a crucial test of government begins for Bangladesh's new Prime Minister. Bureau Report, India Today.
And before I sign off, I'm leaving you with the visuals and this report that in a record-breaking sale, YouTuber and influencer Logan Paul has auctioned his rare Pokemon Illustrator card for a staggering $16 million. Once again, highlighting the booming market for high-value collectibles. Sujata Sharda decodes this story for us.
Oh my gosh. It's over. It's over. $60 million! $492,000!
Logan Paul has shattered the record books not in the ring, but in the world of collectibles. The YouTube star and WWE personality just sold one of the rarest Pokemon cards ever for a jaw-dropping sum.
$16,492,000. The most expensive trading card of all time. There it is, right there.
Paul's ultra-rare Pikachu Illustrator card, graded a perfect PSA 10 and considered the holy grail of Pokemon cards, fetched $16.492 million at an auction, smashing the previous record.
This is, bro, Pokemon, the greatest franchise in history.
Yes, it is.
Man, when I was playing Game Boy as a kid, just so addicted to this game, my dad never thought it would actually pay off in any way.
Paul originally bought this car in 2021 for about $5.3 million. And this sale earns him over $8 million in profit even after fees. A Guinness World Records official confirmed it's now the most expensive trading card ever sold at an auction.
No way, yes! Oh my gosh!
Only 39 copies of the Pikachu Illustrator card were ever made, and Paul's is the only one to score a perfect grade, making it one of the most coveted pieces in the hobby. With Sujata Sharda, Bureau Report, India Today.